It's so funny. A Department for Government Efficiency, new department when Trump wants to eliminate departments, and instead of being run by one person, it's being run by two.
But they are
It's
going to
sort of the
eliminate,
epitome of
according to Musk,
inefficiency.
they're going to
I
eliminate.
just wanted to say
They are
one thing.
going to eliminate
just
dozens of departments, though. So by the end of the
He
process,
said he's going to get rid of 300 departments.
they're going to get rid of a lot of departments, David Pakman. So, I mean, that seems to me to be a good thing, doesn't it? Or do you think that they should be...
Listen,
In today's video, David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen absolutely destroy Piers Morgan and his MAGA panel in a heated debate. The main focus? Trump's first term, the whole right versus left narrative, and DOGE, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah, it sounds like satire, but they're serious. Piers and his MAGA crew came in ready to spin, but Pakman and Cohen weren't having any of it. So, let's dive in and watch how David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen shut down Piers Morgan and his MAGA panel in this heated debate.
in his first term, it was not exactly promises made, promises kept. I'm going to reserve judgment to see what happens. And the reason why, and Dave, honestly, I know we're not getting along here. I do like you. I wish we were still friends. I'd love to get our kids together to play soon. Dave Rubin making predictions is crazy because his predictions always go wrong. Red wave for Republicans in 2018 didn't happen. 30% black vote for Trump in 2020 didn't happen. Republicans get 54 Senate seats in 2022. I've got a list of 30 Rubin predictions. They're always wrong. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see.
I can see why you're looking for new friends, Pakman.
I missed that,
I think
Dave.
Piers can attest to this. Being in the business we're in, you're going to get election predictions wrong. I have no problem admitting that. I get election predictions wrong all the time. But when it comes to getting the ideas right, I think I've had a pretty damn good track record on that. And again, you're just illustrating why nobody likes progressives. Your smug, holier-than-thou attitude, it's just disgusting to most people. You think you're the savior for people that want nothing to do with you. And frankly, for all the David Pakman subscribers that want to watch a show that actually is informative and funny and interesting and, dare I say, irreverent, I would tune into the Rubin Report.
Well, they're probably all watching Uncensored at the moment. Let me bring in Brian. I mean, Brian, sure. I thought it was very interesting, this meeting between Trump and Biden. They obviously can't stand each other. They've abused each other all year. But Biden did show him the respect of bringing him to the White House and shaking hands, and they talked about a smooth transition and stuff. I mean, that is good, isn't it? After the mayhem we saw 4 years ago, I mean, I like to see that. What I would hope is that Trump, in his inauguration speech, hits a much more unifying tone than he did in 2016.
Right. I mean, I guess we're 8 years into new tone for Trump. It's never going to happen. He is not that person. Biden afforded him every ounce of respect that he couldn't be bothered to show, and that he couldn't be bothered to show Joe Biden or any Democrat over the last 4 years, while he lied about some big lie, and all of these right-wing mouthpieces perpetuated this lie with zero evidence, and then they all just claimed that because Donald Trump was too small to admit that he lost, they all claimed that there must be some fraud, which magically disappeared as soon as 2024 rolled around.
All right,
so there was mass cheating that the Democrats figured out how to do when they didn't control government. But then when Democrats do control government, we just forgot to cheat this time around? The fact is that there is no acknowledgement from the right that for the last 4 years, these Republican officials that are listening to Donald Trump, these Republican mouthpieces like the ones on this panel, all lied because it served their political interests, but now they won't acknowledge that he was lying once it doesn't serve their political interests.
David Pakman really nailed it in this debate with Piers Morgan and Dave Rubin, calling out the absurdity of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, which, let's be honest, is just a shiny wrapper on gutting essential services. Pakman wasn't playing the prediction game like Rubin always does and fails at it, but instead pointed out what we do know from Trump's first term. He promised to drain the swamp, but ended up flooding it with billionaires and lobbyists, cutting programs like Medicaid while passing massive tax breaks for the rich. And now in his second term, it's deja vu but worse. Trump's efficiency push is already leading to proposals to slash the Department of Education, weaken labor protections, and roll back climate regulations. Efficiency, or just erasing anything that helps working people? Pakman's right to be skeptical. It's not about making government work better, it's about making it work only for the elite. Brian Tyler Cohen jumped in and brought the fire too, reminding everyone how Trump still hasn't owned up to trying to subvert democracy. MAGA media pushed lies about the election for years, but now they're back in power. All of a sudden, the fraud talk is gone. Either there was fraud or there wasn't, and the fact that they've dropped it tells you everything.
All right, Ben, you've got your hand up.
Yeah. Let's go back to the question you asked. Is it good for America to see these two men shaking hands and talking? Yes. I actually think it's probably because Joe Biden experienced what Donald Trump experienced for 4 years, and that was people coming after you, trying to undermine you, and having a coup on you. And when the big five of the Democratic Party excommunicated Joe Biden and said, we're going to force you out, I think he was probably the happiest man in America the night that Kamala Harris lost, because it was revenge for them kicking him out. So I think there is a different Joe Biden sitting with a different Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is different now than he was in 2016. And I think these two men have experienced this level of persecution against them. And there probably is genuinely more respect now for the two of them than there has ever been in the last 8 years.
And Ben, hang on, Brian. Hang on, Brian. And Ben, hang on, Brian.
I've
got a question for
never
Ben.
heard such lazy commentary in my entire life.
Ben,
like,
Brian,
what are you talking about?
Free.
Joe
Brian,
Biden
let
was
us finish.
Joe Biden was the happiest person in the world when Kamala Harris.
Let me ask a question.
Yourself, my dude?
Excuse me. I run this panel at the moment. Ben, a question for you, Ben, because I put this forward on X and got a lot of blowback from MAGA Republicans. But I said, if Trump really wanted to set a different tone for the second administration, what about pardoning Hunter Biden? Not because I think he's innocent of the crimes, but because it would go a long way, perhaps, to showing the left that Trump is a different person, that he is prepared to forgive and move on. What do you think of that?
I think it's a terrible idea. I think you have to be held accountable for your actions. And I think the abuse of power by Hunter Biden, by Joe Biden's brother, and by the Biden crime family, and the money they were receiving from Ukraine and from Russia and from China is egregious. Now, let me also say, I think the olive branch is, hey, I'm not going to weaponize the government to come after you. I'm going to let you go off into the sunset, but I'm not going to make it easy on you and do this pardon, which, by the way, if he did pardon him, I'm a realist. The two people in these boxes over here, I promise you, there's no way that would make them like Donald Trump. They would still hate him. They would still come after him. They would still say he's Hitler and we're all Nazis. And so I'm sorry, their elections have consequences. We kicked your ass. We're going to go in and do government.
Let me bring in Brianna.
And that's the way it's going to be.
Ben's whole take here is just a masterclass in revisionist spin. Let's start with this idea that Biden experienced a coup, the way Trump supposedly did. Come on, man. Joe Biden won a free and fair election. And the only coup we've seen in recent years was on January 6th, when Trump supporters literally stormed the Capitol trying to overturn the results of the election because Trump couldn't handle losing. To equate political oppositions or party tensions with what Trump actually incited is just disingenuous. And let's debunk this nonsense about the Biden crime family while we're at it. After years of Republican-led investigations, including the latest flop of a GOP inquiry in the House, no direct evidence has tied Joe Biden to any criminal wrongdoing. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is the one facing 91 criminal counts and multiple ongoing trials.
Hey, let me bring in Brianna. Brianna, just on a big picture here. Sure. Brianna, as an American, Brianna, what would you like to hear Trump say on Inauguration Day?
I would like to see us find a way to move forward as a country. I've thought so much, Piers, about what I'm going to do differently this time around, because Resistance 2.0 is not what the country needs right now. Don't get me wrong. I am a Democrat. I worked 16-hour days trying to get Kamala Harris elected. This election broke my heart. But at the same time, what is frustrating to me about this panel is I see my fellow Democrats and we're sliding into the same mistakes that brought us here. The American people do not care respectfully about about your show viewer count. They don't care about this left versus right nonsense. They are looking for stuff that makes their lives better. So what I am committed to doing is Trump has done some stuff I think is good. I think he's taking a much harder stand on Israel. I like the people he's appointing to represent us and to bring our countries closer together after I think Biden and Kamala Harris have really spit in the Jewish community's face. And, what I'm willing to do as an American, not as a Democrat, so when he does stuff like that, I agree with, I will stand with him. And, Ben, you're wrong. If Trump were to come forward tomorrow and say, for the good of the country, I am pardoning Hunter Biden because these charges are just out of proportion to the issue at hand, that would mean a lot to me. But what I need for y'all to do is to give some of that goodwill back. We are not going to move forward as a country if everyone on this panel cannot stop hating each other at some point.
To let someone get away with abusing their power. That's not goodwill.
Pick something else.
When you abuse the power you're given,
that Trump should be sentenced?
Well, I actually personally, I think Joe Biden, before he goes out of office, I think he should pardon Trump for the ridiculous Stormy Daniels case. I honestly do.
Wait, can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Piers, can I ask a question here?
Yes.
Ben, do you think that Donald Trump should go through with his sentencing then, because everybody should be held accountable for their crimes?
I don't know. I think the whole thing was a farce. I think the
do you think that
the whole
Donald
Stormy Daniels case, I think Joe Biden should pardon him and end the whole thing now.
Do you think that Donald Trump should be allowed to be continued being prosecuted for in the Washington, D.C. case, or the classified documents case, or the Georgia RICO prosecution, since everybody has to be held accountable for their crimes?
No, because I think it's very clear that it says you cannot go after a sitting president, and I think we all know
that's
his
not what
law
I asked
there, and
you.
every time
that's not what I asked you.
I just answered the question. I just said no. The first thing came out of my mouth was the word no, and then I explained why. You need to listen.
So you said everybody should be held accountable for their crimes, but not Trump.
The American people just held Donald Trump accountable, and they said they thought it was crap, and they reelected him.
That's not how it works. I'm asking you.
Yes, it is.
It's exactly how it works. That everybody should be held accountable for their crimes.
And that is exactly why they have said we're going to wind it all down.
Okay.
Brian Tyler Cohen nailed it in that exchange, and Ben couldn't have made his contradiction more obvious. First, Ben says everyone should be held accountable for their crimes. Then, within seconds, backtracks to say Trump shouldn't face prosecution because he's a sitting president. That's not accountability, that's special treatment for someone just because he has political power. And let's also correct Ben's claim that the American people held Trump accountable and re-elected him. First of all, Trump did not win the popular vote in any election. Not in 2016, not in 2020, and not in 2024. Trump only returned to the office through the Electoral College. So no, the American people didn't give some kind of overwhelming stamp of approval. What actually happened is a razor-thin Electoral College win, not a mandate, not a sweeping endorsement, and definitely not a reason to drop ongoing investigations. Between Brian Tyler Cohen dismantling Ben's excuses and David Pakman shutting down Dave Rubin's revisionist MAGA narrative, the through line is clear. The right is trying to rewrite Trump's legacy in real time, but progressives came armed with facts, receipts, and accountability. Whether it's whitewashing the debt, dodging criminal charges, or pushing authoritarian vibes through DOGE, Trump 2.0 looks more dangerous, not more disciplined. Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.